Buying printers these days are cheap. For less than $100, you can probably get a printer that does most of the print functions for you. What is expensive though is the print consumables, which can cost you as much as the printer itself, if not more. So first question, what do you do with the print consumables assuming it runs out? Do you normally throw it away or do you recycle them? And if you recycle them, how do you do it? Hi, my name is Danny, I'm from Xfield. We're going to introduce to you a new revolutionary way of how you can refill the ink cartridges cleanly and safely without damaging the print cartridges. Firstly, to explain to you how the refill process is being done, we have to illustrate to you how the traditional method works against the Xfield technology. Let me illustrate to you. To better illustrate to you how an ink refill process works, we are going to show you two methods of refilling. One is the traditional refilling method, and two is the Xfield refill technology using nozzle refilling process. In diagram A, a needle is being introduced into the cartridge in order to refill the ink into the cartridge. Ink is being force-fed into the cartridge without any regard of any ink if it is clogged up inside the cartridge mesh and chamber or not. There is also an inherent air pocket that is being built up inside the cartridge that exerts against the ink, causing it to leak over time and thereby damaging the printer over time. This method is highly unreliable and not recommended as it causes printer damage as a result of frequent refilling using this method. In diagram B, using Xfield technology, ink is being introduced from the nozzle instead of a needle. Nozzle is where the ink comes out from and is where we will introduce the ink back in. This method allows ink to be filled to the brim without leaking or causing any pressure build-up within the cartridge itself. But before this step is even performed, a process of cleaning, unclogging of the ink and sucking the remaining old ink is being performed first before refilling. Therefore, this process of refilling is not only safe, clean and environment friendly, it is able to refill an ink cartridge for as long as the cartridge can last without damaging the cartridge or printer as a result of it. Okay, to better illustrate to you, we're going to show you how the ink cartridge refill works. We're going to use HP21 as an example. This is a used cartridge, HP21. To refill this ink cartridge, firstly what we normally do is we will normally weigh the cartridge first to make sure that it is empty. If the ink cartridge is empty, according to a chart, the HP21 it should weigh something like 26 gram or 28 gram. As you can see right now it's 29 gram, which means it is still not fully empty. So what we go through is we go through a process of cleaning and sucking out the ink to make sure that it's empty first. So we put into this ultrasonic cleaner to unclog any ink that is remaining inside down here. Possibly if the ink is dry or the ink is clogged up inside the mesh, at least this part we can actually loosen up the ink that is inside here. This process normally takes a few seconds to a minute. After the ink that is being loosened up, using the ultrasonic cleaner, we will put through to a suction machine. This is a suction machine which we are going to demonstrate to you. We have these things called the jig, which is specially custom with the nozzle to fit the cartridge that is inside. As you can see, the nozzle and the jig fits exactly accordingly. So using these jigs, we simply fit the cartridge in, hold it, and then suck it. So this process will normally take a few seconds to a minute again for the ink to be completely sucked out, as you can see down here. Alright, ink is being sucked out from the cartridge to make sure that it is empty. Again, like I say, this process normally takes a few seconds to a minute at most. Okay, after it's being sucked out, what we will do is that we will pull this one and bring out the cartridge that is the cartridge that is already out, and then we weigh them again this time now. As you can see, an empty cartridge weighs 26 grams as according to the specification. So it proves that this cartridge is already empty. What we do next is we transfer this same jig and the cartridge into this black refilling machine. This is a black refilling machine, and then we press hold. After we set hold, we will set the cartridge to the ml that the cartridge is supposed to hold as according to specification. In this case, a HP21 should be 6 ml, and this is what we are actually exactly going to do. We set the ml to 6 ml, and then all we need to do is press the refill button. As you can see, it only takes a few seconds for the refill process to be done, and once it's done, the system shows OK, and then we are able to take out the cartridge again. Alright, it's done. We do a simple depth test to make sure that the ink is there. As you can see, the ink is refilled, and then we weigh the cartridge one more time. As you can see right now, the cartridge weighs 33 grams, which is again the specification according to a cartridge that is fully refilled, which is in this case between 33 to 34 grams as accordingly. So with that, we have a cartridge that is fully filled, cleanly, safely, no mess, neither intrusion, and not only that, it is environment friendly. This is the same for the color cartridge itself, which we will use a color machine. The same process works. Alright, and there you have it. Thank you very much.